Good afternoon, and welcome to the webinar on cloud security that strikes the perfect chord by Locus Enterprise Solutions Limited and Palo Alto Networks. My name is Kushbu Soni. I'm your host for today's session. Few announcements before we begin. We aim to complete the webinar in 45 minutes. Please stay tuned with us. Please feel free to ask questions in the Q&A window during the course of the presentation, and your questions will be addressed at the end of the webinar by the speakers. This is an exclusive webinar, and we're happy to host eminent speakers from Palo Alto Networks and Locus Enterprise Solutions. The uniqueness about today's webinar is that we will be discussing the ever-changing challenges with today's cloud security landscape, achieving continuous cloud governance and compliance along with automated threat detection and remediation in your multi-cloud environment, leveraging Prisma Cloud on AWS Marketplace to protect your cloud workloads. It gives me an immense pleasure in introducing our speakers for the day. We have Dinesh Verma, the Cloud Security Lead for Prisma Cloud, India and SAARC from Palo Alto Networks. Dinesh is an entrepreneur turned professional, and he founded and led a technology startup company in India, which was a consulting and cloud integration services company. Dinesh is, a pioneer a professional and has worked with organizations like Palo Alto Networks and many more in his journey. He's worked as a key member at SERS, which is a leading cloud automation and analytics-led business transformation company, and was helping many large and medium-sized customers adopt cloud digital collaboration technologies, primarily through Google Cloud Platform. Dinesh, it is an absolute pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Kushbu.
We also have Shashidhar Dayamani, the Principal Consultant Cybersecurity at Locus Enterprise Solutions Limited. Shashidhar is a security guru, cloud geek, cybersecurity strategist, and evangelist specialized in digital transformation security analytics, managed security services, MDR, and SOC, with 18 years of rich experience in empowering customers with disruptive technologies. It is an absolute pleasure to have you as well, Shashidhar.
Thank you, Kushbu.
Great. So without further ado, I would now like to pass it over to Dinesh to take this discussion forward.
Thank you, Kushbu. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you for taking the time out. Welcome, everyone. Today, we're going to talk about some of the trends in cloud security. What are the challenges customers are facing when they're adopting public cloud, especially AWS, Azure, GCP, and how Palo Alto and Prisma Cloud, we're partnering with AWS and our specialist partners, Locus, on the call today. Proud to be partners with both AWS and Locus. So let me just share my screen and start off. Just give me a second. Can you see my screen, Kushbu?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. So once again, thank you for giving us this opportunity. As Kushbu mentioned, my name is Dinesh. I lead the cloud security division called Prisma Cloud within Palo Alto Networks for India and SAARC. I also have my colleague Himanshi, who leads the Prisma Cloud channels on the call. If there are any questions coming, you can just post it in the Q&A. I wanted to make this session very interactive. So please feel free to stop me anytime during this session, and we're happy to answer any questions you may have. So I'm going to start off by just showing the typical questions or the challenges what we see when we interact with many large enterprise customers and digital native customers, startups, banking customers, various customers across India. Starting from the bottom right, one of the first challenge, when customers migrate from on-prem to the cloud is when we ask them, what do you really have in the cloud? What kind of resources you're having, what kind of assets you're having? This itself is the first challenge we see. We don't get a clear answer, right? So visibility itself is a major challenge as stated by many customers, right? Second is they also want to know who is making the changes in their cloud environment and why are they making those changes. Are they hosts and containers secure? Are they compliant? What's actually happening in your cloud environment? Ultimately, are your apps and your data, your crown jewels, are they secure or not? Addressing these challenges or answers to these challenges itself is a major challenge we are seeing many customers are facing. This sometimes actually is a hurdle for them in their minds to adopt and embrace new technologies like cloud and containers at a rapid pace. That is why you see some customers adopting, or they would have adopted already 5-7 years ago, and some customers have started the journey now. And some customers have just put some testing workloads or non-critical workloads, whereas some customers have put their entire mission-critical workloads on the cloud. The difference really is how these challenges are addressed by different customers. So we'll talk about these topics today and how Palo Alto Networks with our Prisma Cloud platform, in partnership with AWS and our partners Locus, we're trying to address some of these challenges. The first thing I would always tell our customers is first understand the shared responsibility model. What's the shared responsibility model? In fact, this particular slide you can actually also see in AWS, Azure, or GCP marketplace slides. In their websites. So the first thing what you notice is whatever you're putting in the cloud, from a security standpoint, there's a shared responsibility model. What do I mean by that? So the underlying infrastructure, right? If you see the ones in the yellow cells here, the underlying infrastructure like your hardware, the global infrastructure, the compute instances, the regions, the availability zones, the edge locations. This is the responsibility of your cloud service provider like AWS. AWS calls this security of the cloud. Most important is the word off here, security of the cloud. This is AWS's 100% responsibility. But whatever you're putting in the cloud, you're putting your applications, you're putting your customer data, you are configuring those VMs, you're configuring the containers, you're configuring the encryptions, right? The vulnerabilities, all this kind of things is your responsibility. So there's a clear demarcation. This is called security of the cloud, and this is security in the cloud. Meaning whatever you're putting in the cloud, it's 100% your responsibility. Right? This understanding is very, very critical. We have seen time and again, many customers do not have this clear understanding of what is the cloud service provider responsible for and what the customer is responsible for. Once you understand this clearly, then you will know, okay, these are the things I'm responsible for. Now, how do I protect them? Okay, so now let's start when you're migrating from the left to right. What is changing? Right? When you migrate from the data center on the private cloud to the public cloud, fundamentally three things are changing. One, in your data center and your own, in your private cloud, for example, the environment was very static. In the public cloud, it's very, very dynamic in nature. You will see configuration changes and new resources getting added and removed at a rapid pace. Right? It's very, very dynamic in nature. Earlier, in your data center, security is an exclusive responsibility. Now it's a shared responsibility. As we mentioned in the earlier slide, responsibility shared between you and the cloud service provider. Security in the past, in the data center world or in the private cloud world, is an centralized security or an audit method. Now it's very decentralized security. Security is shared between the security teams, the DevOps teams, the developers, right, and the cloud infrastructure teams. So all these are equal partners in security. So how well we collaborate with these individual stakeholders, individual stakeholder teams, is very, very critical for understanding cloud security in totality. We're also seeing a continuing of cloud native technologies. We have seen many years ago, customers were thinking, hey, the whole world is moving towards containers and serverless. It's the death of the VMs. But that's not happening, right? We see these are all very situation basis. The developers ultimately decide for what kind of applications, what kind of infrastructure is required. There could be some applications where your VMs are good enough, right? You don't need containers and serverless. But for some of the modern applications, right, where you're breaking down your large monolithic applications into smaller microservices, that's where we see rapid adoption of containers and serverless. And we have seen some applications using a combination of VMs, containers, and serverless. Why this slide is important is the way you look or you configure security, or you approach to security for VMs and your traditional compute instances is fundamentally different for containers and serverless. So you cannot apply the same architecture or security frameworks for VMs, containers, and serverless. So this is an important point to be noted here. And next, we're also seeing many customers are started with one cloud. Maybe AWS is the most popular cloud, and slowly we are seeing customers adopting Azure and Google as well. And many companies have 3 clouds, or some of them have 4 clouds. So in this kind of scenario, how well you architect the security so that you have a common framework for all the clouds, and multi-cloud security strategy in place is becoming critical. This is a big trend we are seeing, a multi-cloud environment in most of the places. And when we did a survey through our own research organization, so we have seen most of the cloud breaches are happening because of risky configurations. 32% of the breaches are happening because of misconfigurations. This is necessarily not due to your cloud team not necessarily skilled enough. That's not the major reason, but being given the dynamic nature of the public cloud, so many resources, configurations, APIs, so many new services getting added, and multi-cloud environment, and a combination of VMs, containers, and serverless, it's practically not possible for one individual person to specialize on everything, right? So obviously, the misconfigurations are bound to happen, right? And if you see, even Gartner reports that through 2023, at least 99% of all cloud failures will be customers' own fault. And the other reasons we are seeing breaches are happening because of account compromises, your own IAM users, your privileged users getting breached. 23% of breaches are happening due to host vulnerabilities, and 46% due to vulnerabilities in the container or your Kubernetes environments. Another trend we are seeing, the whole software development lifecycle is going the modern way. The whole app modernization, we call it, and we have seen this heavily happening especially in the banking and financial services sector, where they're trying to modernize their older applications into modern, microservice-based application, wherein they can launch their softwares at a rapid pace compared to the whole old waterfall method. They're trying to change it into agile methodologies, break that large monolithic applications into smaller microservices, adopt DevOps practices instead of the older batch-based releases. And to achieve these things, obviously, they're also looking for a common cloud operating model to achieve that kind of speed. But with this speed comes a lot of challenges again, as I mentioned in my earlier slide. This is another survey we did, and we saw 42% of the infrastructure as a code templates. For example, if you're using Terraform or CloudFormation templates, the infrastructure as a code template itself is having a lot of misconfigurations. So obviously, one misconfigured VM can lead to, one misconfigured IAC template can lead to 1,000 faulty VMs that could lead to some 10,000 alerts in production at a later time. So another thing we're seeing, 51% of exposed Docker containers use insecure defaults. 21% of exposed cloud hosts have known vulnerabilities. And of course, there's a huge compliance risk which are attached to these things. Right. And if you look at the cloud security maturity model, customers would have started off with a few workloads, right? Putting non-mission critical workloads in the public cloud to start with, just to test the waters. At that time, they would have started with the cloud service provider native security tools, right? Second, as they grow bigger, we see hundreds of workloads, many cloud accounts. They start using platform as a service offerings from the cloud service providers, right? And then eventually, as they become even more bigger, dozens of cloud accounts, containers also being used, right? But if you look at the security curve, right, not much is being improved in the security landscape. They're still using the same security frameworks or tools which they started using when they were having just few workloads. So while the workloads and the type of workloads and the quantity of the workloads are increasing in the cloud and a multi-cloud environment, we are not seeing that kind of investments in the cloud security space. That's actually causing a lot of breaches, and we have seen that time and again in many customer accounts. So to address these challenges, customers use various techniques, right? They started off with the cloud service provider tools. In fact, AWS comes with a very good set of cloud native tools. But the challenge here is, you need to buy multiple tools, right? Then they end up also buying separate tools for container security, separate tools for SIEM, separate tools for network monitoring, another tool for compliance. So what's happening is, too many tools, right? Will lead to more complexity, poor user experience, and coverage gaps. I've seen some companies having more than 45, 50 security tools. On one side, customers tell us we don't want to do the same mistake as what we did on-prem, meaning on the on-prem world, they had too many security tools and they always had a wish to have as less number of tools or maybe one or two platforms to the max as possible. They wanted to achieve that in the cloud world at least, but unfortunately, we are seeing the same mistakes being repeated in the cloud as well. As customers keep adding more and more security tools, it's like putting one bandage on top of another bandage, right? Eventually, what's happening whenever there's an incident or a breach, you have too many tools, too much logs, too many alerts, too many dashboards. There's nobody, helping customers to stitch all of them, look at a consolidated view, get the context and the intelligence to respond and remediate as fast as possible. So that's where we see a huge risk and coverage gaps in many customer environments. To address these challenges, Palo Alto Networks came up with a platform strategy called Prisma Cloud. We launched this many years ago, and our vision for this, when we were trying to design this platform many years ago, we were asking ourselves, what are the three main tenets or the main three characteristics this platform should have? Well, the first thing we thought is it should be comprehensive, right? Customers will use different tech stacks, meaning you will have a combination of VMs, containers, serverless. You'll be using some are monolithic applications, some are microservices. Some applications you have, a good DevOps practice and a good CI/CD pipeline infrastructure in place, right? Some applications could be serverless, and some applications could be on AWS, some are on Azure and GCP, some could be on-prem, right? So there's a combination of situations you will see. Can we address all those kind of tech stacks and clouds and app components? That's the comprehensive characteristic required in a cloud security platform we thought of. Second, while we're offering so many capabilities, can each of those individual capabilities match the best in the industry? So each of our offerings, for example, the platform offers container security. Can it be number one in the world? It offers compliance management. Can it be number one in the world? It offers infrastructure as a code security. It offers DevSecOps. It offers cloud security posture management. Can it be leading instead of being part of a larger platform? Can the individual components be best in class? That's the second characteristics we thought of building in the platform. The third and the most important thing, can the platform address the entire software development lifecycle? Can we introduce security early in the software cycle, in the build stage of the application itself, right? Can we introduce security in the deployment stage and all the way to runtime? Can the same platform address needs of developers, your DevOps teams, and security teams together? So that's the third important characteristics we thought. Keeping all this in mind, we build this platform, and this is offering a comprehensive offering. So this is a cloud-native security platform covering the entire software development lifecycle. So typically it has 4 modules, and we added a 5th module just 2 weeks ago, more from a DevSecOps. So currently the platform is offering these services, starting with the cloud security posture management. This natively very well integrates with AWS, and we can ingest AWS GuardDuty into this, integrate with Security Hub, and many other integrations with AWS are built into the software out of the box. So the cloud security posture management offers a multi-cloud visibility. The first thing customers were asking, as I mentioned in one of the challenge, can I get an bird's eye view of what is happening in my cloud? Can I have a cloud command center wherein I can visualize my AWS, Azure, GCP, Oracle, Ali Cloud, everything in a single dashboard? That's the multi-cloud visibility. Visibility does not necessarily mean just looking at all the clouds in one single view, but really going in depth into, can I get granular visibility into my assets, right? What are the assets I have, right? Can I get a configuration management database? Can I have a separate compliance dashboard? This compliance dashboard is used for your audit reports or having a compliance score, like say ISO score or CIS or NIST or GDPR or HIPAA. and using the score to make your other teams accountable. Many of our CISO, our customers, CISOs tell us that we want to achieve, say, 98% of CIS benchmarks, or 98% of MITRE ATT&CK framework or NIST. So as long as they don't achieve that score, they're making the other teams accountable to reach that score. So that's how you can actually use compliance and audit reporting to make other teams accountable and improve the security posture. Then the governance part, the governance module is helping customers enforce policies and use them as guardrails. So we ask a question to a lot of customers: how do you know whatever is being configured in your cloud environment, your developers and your DevOps and your cloud infrastructure teams are configuring it correctly? How do you know? Right? That's where the governance policies come into picture. These governance policies are acting like guardrails, as I mentioned. So any deviation from the best practice, if there are any misconfigurations, we can alert you. And these alerts can be used for response and remediations and investigations. And we're also ingesting flow logs. Using this, we are able to detect threats. If there are any threats happening in your cloud environment, we're able to detect them. And if there are any anomalies, if there are any crypto mining activity happening, is there any data exfiltration happening? Is there any insider threat we are seeing? So we have the intelligence because we ingest the flow logs as well from your cloud service provider. Using that analysis, using those logs, we're able to analyze and detect those threats and help you respond and remediate. We're also doing data classification of any sensitive data in your S3 buckets and able to apply DLP on this. So all these features are part of the cloud security posture management. This particular module is completely agentless. This is done only by connecting through the AWS SDKs and APIs. The next module is the cloud workload protection. This is where we are deploying our cloud native defenders. These defenders are protecting your hosts, containers, and serverless. These defenders are offering additional capabilities like full stack vulnerability management, east-west traffic monitoring, and a full runtime defense. Apart from one of the newly added capability is our layer 7 based cloud native WAF. This is the web application and API security. And next, we're also doing identity-based microsegmentation, identity and access management security for your privileged users. And then, of course, the whole shift left concept, wherein we're able to introduce security early in the software development lifecycle and ability to scan your ISC templates, all your images and your operating system vulnerabilities, everything early in the software cycle as well. So all these things put together comes in a single SKU. This is how the architecture is. I'm not going to go too technical in this call, but just at a high level, this is the architecture we typically propose. Imagine this is your VPC. So the first thing customers say is, hey, I'm going into the public cloud. I want a firewall, right? That's where the first point starts. This is our Palo Alto's own VM series next generation firewall. So what this does is anything going into the cloud or going out of the cloud, we are doing a layer 7 inspection at the perimeter. So this is a preventive capable firewall, able to prevent breaches and stop breaches at the perimeter itself. However, all of us know, right, any small misconfiguration in the cloud environment can bypass these firewalls, right? That's where Prisma Cloud comes into picture. We are continuously monitoring your cloud environments through the AWS SDKs and APIs. We're ingesting your config logs, audit logs, and your flow logs, using which we're able to give you this entire cloud security posture management and compliance management and apply governance. And then, of course, we're able to detect any anomalies or any threats and respond and remediate. And the defender, of course, is going into your workloads. So this defender is going into your hosts, containers, and serverless, offering additional capabilities like workload protection from vulnerability management to runtime defense and many more. So I'm just seeing some questions here on the chat. Okay, yes. I see a question from Bijoy. Okay, DevSecOps, this is applicable when we are using the in-house environment for dev and testing and use cloud for protection. Yes, very much. Very good question. This defenders actually you can use this for scanning. For example, you have an CI pipeline running on-prem. You can actually use our scanners to scan ISC templates, or you can scan any of your images or operating system or libraries in the on-prem world as well. Vijay, to answer your question, yes, you can do it both on-prem and in the public cloud. Okay, that's a good question. So what are the top 5 reasons why customers are preferring Prisma Cloud? One, it's a comprehensive offering. It's a single management interface. You can do multiple things in a single UI, multi-cloud environment. So this is one of the questions which Bijoy asked. I can answer again on this slide. This platform takes care of security in the build stage of the application, deploy and runtime. You might have the build stage of the application on-prem. For example, I'm a developer, I'm using VS Code or IntelliJ. Our scanners can be integrated into VS Code and we can do some early scans, even the developer's laptop actually. And these do support private cloud infrastructure as well in case you're using any Red Hat OpenShift or Pivotal or Tanzu or any native Docker Kubernetes environments in your private cloud, it's fully supported. Okay. And again, this platform is very developer and DevOps friendly. Security teams, of course, will get the maximum benefit out of this. But a lot of integrations are available out of the box. So as I mentioned, some of the scanners can be integrated into your IDEs or with your SCM tools, or in case you want integration with GitHub, all these things are natively out of the box. In case you're having any CI/CD pipeline, any CI automation tools like Jenkins, again, plugins can be integrated natively with them. Various computing platforms supported, not just your normal VMs or containers, but also any container as a service platforms like AWS Fargate or serverless functions like Lambda. Security is like very important for these kind of new age technologies as well. There are various locations. We recently announced the India region as well, by the way. Now, as per the government of India privacy policies, now the cloud security platform or the logs what we're ingesting from your cloud environment, we are keeping it completely within the legal boundary of India. So your data is not going anywhere out of India actually. So that's one other major advantage as customers see us, that we are complying completely with RBI or SEBI or IRDA or with any other government regulations. So we do support all the 5 major clouds, and from a licensing standpoint, our enterprise Prisma Cloud platform is a SaaS delivered service. For some of our banking customers who would say, or any regulated industries, sometimes they say, hey, can you ship the license to me? I want to spin up a VM and install the console and manage it on my own. That's also possible, but with some limited capabilities. You can also run Prisma Cloud in your own restricted environment. I see another question. Let me just check. Okay, I answered this already. Let's see another. Okay, another question coming from Kiran. How about SaaS products like Firebase? Is your product only restricted to PaaS or IaaS or also SaaS? Good question. Currently, Prisma Cloud is predominantly for IaaS and PaaS security. For SaaS, we have another offering called Prisma SaaS. Prisma SaaS is not part of Prisma Cloud, but we have another separate product which takes care of your SaaS security, like your Office 365 or G Suite or Workday, Salesforce.com. The separate module we have, which is not actually part of Prisma Cloud, but it is available for sure. I hope I answered your question, Kiran. That's another good question. So keep the questions coming. These are all very interesting questions. Thank you. So we have done, thousands of implementations, and we have learned a lot on the field. We have put all our learnings in kind of an operationalization guide. Happy to share this guide with all of you. Very interesting learnings from the field and how do you operationalize cloud security, right? Because unlike other security, in the cloud world, you need to collaborate with developers, DevOps teams, application teams, cloud infrastructure teams, and security teams, and all need to collaborate and work together. And how do you put up the RACI matrix? How do you define who should do what as part of cloud security? And ultimately, it's the security team's responsibility, but however, it's a shared responsibility, right? And how do you operationalize this and make sure all the stakeholders are aligned is an important learning we can share with you. All until now, whatever I spoke, all the features and capabilities come in a single SKU. The licensing is credit-based. We wanted to make it very cloud-centric. One license, you get 100 credits. These credits, you can use it across cloud security, posture management, or workload protection, cloud network security, or even IAM security. And you can use it across containers, VM, serverless, and across AWS, Azure, GCP, or any other cloud environments. And for your workload protection, you can use those credits on-prem world as well. So it's a very flexible licensing model. It's a kind of a pay-as-you-go model, right? And just a quick snap on some of the highlights on Prisma Cloud. Very robust platform. We are seeing some huge traction worldwide, including India, some of the top banks in India, some of the top fintech companies, you name it, any of the vertical, any industry, the top 5 companies typically will be on Prisma Cloud. The top IT, ITS companies in India, the top banks, the top insurance, the top fintech, and the top unicorns are completely relying on Prisma Cloud. Very, very robust platform, and happy to share more references at a later time. Right. From a Gartner standpoint as well, we have seen how Gartner, this is a new release from Gartner. In fact, whatever we have been preaching since almost 3 years, the whole platform approach, Gartner also is aligning with this. They came up with this new terminology called Cloud Native Application Protection Platform. They're saying, how a single platform should be able to do all these things. And I'm really proud to say that, we are, I think, literally the only company who's able to match all the requirements from this Gartner's framework called Cloud Native Application Protection Platform. So we can share this Gartner research paper as well with you. Our partnership with AWS and our partners like Locus, we've been doing quite a lot of interesting deployments and integrations for securing our customers' cloud environments. And aligning with AWS's Prevent, Detect, Respond, Protect from a NIST framework as well. So what are all the tools from a prevent perspective or from a detect perspective, respond and protect? We have Prisma Cloud and our larger Palo Alto service offerings from our Cortex and Strata portfolios as well, and giving a comprehensive cloud security platform for your AWS deployments. And the next big thing we are seeing is the whole shift left security, as I spoke about, the whole DevSecOps, meaning introducing security early in the software development lifecycle. One of the new things we launched, we are now able to scan those IAC templates, your Terraform or your Helm charts or your Kubernetes YAML manifests, your CloudFormation templates or your Azure ARM templates. We can scan them early in the software development lifecycle, and actually we can also fix them right in the developer's, when he's writing his code. Actually, ability to fix them right then and there will prevent these things from happening. Otherwise, if you configure, one infrastructure as a code template wrongly, it can lead to hundreds of deployments and it can lead to thousands of security alerts. We can actually prevent these things from happening if you're able to do these checks right here. And that's one of the offering we are giving with our new Prisma Cloud 3.0 launch. I see another question coming up. Yeah, I think Kiran, thank you. I think Kiran just acknowledged. There's another question. APIs become significantly security concern among the customers in cloud adoption journey, and there are very less tools available in that space. How does the gap is filled? Thank you, Sanjay. It's a very good question. As part of this Prisma Cloud platform offering, we do have a very in-depth web app and API security. First of all, we can discover all the APIs in your environment and give a very granular protection with our RASP capability, RASP. What this RASP does is it's a runtime application self-protection. Our Defender, because we are closer to the application. If you see in our architecture in my earlier slides I showed you, let me just go back. That's a very good question, and let me just go back to that architecture slide. So the same Defender, for example, if you see this Defender sitting in your VMs, right? Let me just put the cursor again here. If you see our defenders here, these defenders are going into your VMs or into your in your container orchestrated environments. Our defender is sitting as an additional pod. These are the other containers. We are sitting as an additional pod. We are not a sidecar. What these pods are doing, we can also do a web application and API security, meaning the same Defender can do a layer 7 inspection. If there are any APIs running in this VMs or in your container environments or any web applications, we can do a layer 7 inspection, and we can actually do the top 10 OWASP checks, bot protection, API discovery, API protection, and many other capabilities. Because we are closer to the application, we are able to give you more granular controls, even rate limitation between one microservice and another microservice. So quite a lot of security for your APIs we can offer. That's part of our web application API security. If you see here at the bottom, so there's a whole list of security available for your APIs. I hope I answered your question. I see another question here. Okay. All right. So let me just move to the next slides. Okay, so coming back to how we are partnering with AWS from a DevSecOps perspective as well, whether in your CI/CD pipeline, how well we are able to integrate into your code pipeline, or protecting your compute instances or containers. For example, you're using Elastic Kubernetes Service or ECR or Fargate, any kind of computing instances you're using. Our security capabilities are natively available. And again, of course, we can integrate natively with the AWS Security Hub and Firelines as well. Okay, so finally, Palo Alto and Locus, all of us are partnering with AWS together. We're able to offer all these modules natively integrated, whether it's on identity and access management security or detecting controls, infrastructure protection, data protection, and incident response. So, so that's all I have from my side. I'm going to stick around for some more time. With that, I'm going to hand it over to my colleague from Locus. Shashi, over to you.
Hey, thank you, Dinesh. It was really a very insightful session. Let me share my screen. So, good evening, everyone. So, thank you once again for joining this session. Right? My name is Shashidhar Damni, and I'm Principal Consultant Cybersecurity with Locus. Right? So, yeah, Dinesh has listed cloud initially when he began cloud security challenges and then cloud security maturity models, right? And then how do we, adopt these models and all, and how they solve some of these challenges. Now, I know definitely, every one of you are excited about these technologies and want to experiment with it, or you want to experience it. But definitely, you must be wondering where to start, right? Which technology to adopt first, and right. So that's where we come into picture, and we help you in your security journey. We help you evolve you into a higher security maturity level, right? So we help you take approaches like crawl, walk, and run, right? And ensure that so you reach the desired security level, right, when you move your workloads to cloud, or when you start your cloud security journey, right? So see, many of these things, right, what the lot of technologies that Dinesh has spoken about. See, how do we take up a first step? All of this can start with a security posture audit, right? So we are a AWS consulting partners, right? And then we, as a Locus, we are a 20 years old company, and we have our we are headquarters in Hyderabad, have a 24/7 NOC and SOC running from Hyderabad, right? And they are certified with 20K, 27K, and we are also certain in mPanel. You see, we offer a plethora of cloud-based services. We help you in cloud migration, right? We also help you set up data analytics in cloud, maybe on network and security, right? And also in sustenance of your cloud operations, in a managed services. Now, like I mentioned, right, all this journey about what Dinesh has spoken about cloud security can start with an cloud security posture assessment, right? Then you must be always doing about no security, right? So you have been doing security. So all that, with respect to cloud, when you put that into a cloud terminology, all that turns out to be is a cloud security baseline, right? So how you, what is your auditability today, right? So, how are you using, CloudTrail and all, how you are doing your network behavior analysis with, some of the AWS native services, right? And then how you are doing your cloud governance and compliance management today, right? How about your access management today, what we call it as an IAM, right? What about your organization and account level security, right? How these controls are deployed, right? How are you consuming threat intelligence and, the other threat, threat details and all, right? What about your vulnerability management, patch management? What about your, centralized alert and event management, right? So all this is what defines your current security posture. And then when we ascertain about what is your current security posture, we can see what services from Prisma Cloud or what AWS native services that we need to adopt, right? And then build a security coverage for you, right? So it all starts with posture assessment. Now, some of you may also, maybe wondering, maybe thinking about, passwordless accesses. Maybe you want to go VPN free. Then maybe, some of them today most talked about is about SASE, ZTNA and all, right? So you want to make your private applications access, without giving a network access and all, right? So how do we do this? And from where do we start, right? So that's where all this thing can start with and security posture assessment, right? And we as a Locus, you see here, so we are present in right from your computer to cloud, right? All the services that encompasses like, your cloud security, IAM and access management, for sustain and security, SOC and NOC operations, right? Endpoint security, DLPs, right? So not only from Palo Alto point of view, it's Prisma Cloud. There are a lot of other services, right? So as in Locus, we have on AWS and Palo Alto highly skilled resources. We can help you with what services that you need and how to build your security posture, right? So yeah. So that's what I had. So any questions? Definitely, would like to love to take.
Great. Thank you so much, Shashi and Dinesh, for such a wonderful presentation and insightful presentation. I request all the participants, you all can put your questions on the Q&A window or the chat window. While Dinesh did cover quite a few during his presentation, but we would love to take them out now as well. So please feel free to put your questions and we will address it now.
Or you can send across an email to, to Manpreet, Darshan out here. So you can book a consulting hours with us.
Yes, I think we don't have much questions coming in now. So great. What we will do is we will share the recording of this video over an email to all the participants for their reference. And I'd like to thank once again to the speakers and to all the participants for taking out time for today's webinar. Any last minute, thoughts, Dinesh, Shashidhar, from your side?
I think what an interactive audience, Khushbu. If there are any other questions, they can reach out to the Locus team, or let me just ping my email address also here. If anybody wants to reach out to me directly, happy to share my email address. Let me just ping it on the chat here.
Yes.
Just putting my email address here.
Great. Awesome. Thank you, Dinesh. Shashidhar, any last comments?
Yeah, it was very insightful, and some of the very, very interesting questions also, right? So yeah, definitely we are happy to help. Please reach out to the team, right? So yeah, we'll provide you our email IDs here. You can reach out to me, Darshan, Manpreet.
Great. Awesome. Thank you once again to all the participants for taking out time, and we hope to have you back soon.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Khushbu. Thank you, Locus team, for having me. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.